Hello guys, and welcome to a very exciting preview look at the Just Flight PA28 161 Warrior. Now this is a 4-seat piston engine aircraft and part of the Piper family, but what really is exciting about this one for me is that I've actually flown in one many times in the past, and in fact I did a 5-day tour around France and landed one of these myself at La Rochelle a few years ago. Oh god, this aircraft is really the mainstay of the training sort of general aviation aircraft that you'd expect to see around the UK. You'd either see one of these, the Cherokee, which was slightly older than this. I think actually, yeah, production began in 1961 of the Cherokee, before I think it was actually competing against the Comanche at the time. But what's really exciting about this aircraft in the real world is that it's kind of considered more of the powerful version of the Cherokee family. I remember when we got our hands on this to go to France, we were really pleased because it's got a 160 horsepower engine, and trust me, you actually feel that on takeoff, believe it or not. But anyway, let's have a look around this aircraft. Now, just to say that Scott from Just Flight, thank you so much, by the way, for providing a preview sort of early access look at this aircraft. But it's very important to state that this is a beta at the moment, and you know, things might not be quite finished, but it's great to see what's going on here with this aircraft. And I think it's about sort of about 2 weeks or so off release date. So yeah, what we'll do is actually we'll just slow the drone camera down a bit, because I always have it on too fast, and we're going to get close and personal with these textures, because yeah, one thing that I love about all of the Just Flight aircraft is that they're exquisitely modelled. Now, of course, this has a fixed landing gear, so that's interesting. So there's a little less going on with this aircraft. It's a bit simpler, much simpler in fact, than the turbo variant. And just to say also that if you are interested in this aircraft, Just Flight will be providing a really generous discount on this sort of Warrior, which I think it's great to have all three. But for me personally, believe it or not, this is the one I'm excited about the most, simply because I've flown in one, and you probably have as well, because you'll see this at so many different airfields. So if you have a look here at the fixed undercarriage, the textures are the usual kind of high quality PBR work. But what I like about Just Flight, their aircraft are quite weathered. Now, some people don't like that, but I actually do prefer that, because you can see here where, you know, the dust and sort of oil has been kicked up there. One thing that I really do like about the design team at Just Flight, I have noticed that these aircraft, even though they're pretty much the most complex general aviation aircraft that you can get right now for Microsoft Flight Simulator, they are the leaders right now, absolutely, but they're also incredibly frame rate friendly, really friendly. In fact, they're that good, they're better than the default aircraft. That's saying something. Now, for me personally, I prefer the sort of performance over super ultra sharp textures, which, let's face it guys, these textures look absolutely stunning, they really do, but they're not probably as high quality as perhaps some other developers. But I have noticed that you do definitely get a performance hit, so I think they've got the balance right with these add-ons. I mean, look, absolutely beautiful here as we're panning around. Right, anyway, let's get out of drone mode and get in the cockpit and check out what we have here. So, again, we're going to get nice and close as we can. This cockpit, oh my goodness, it brings back memories. I actually prefer the look of this cockpit than the awful sort of interior and that sort of brown of the turbo version, which was very popular for its era, to this sort of all black panel here. And look at the weathering on that comms panel, very nice indeed. This, I like to see an aircraft that's well worn. You can see here, and look at that, the tech. Now this is where I have said before, regardless of the external view, I think the cockpit of these Just Flight Piper Arrows are absolutely second to none. It's the best cockpits that I've ever seen, and this is no exception. I mean, just look at this. And again, I'm just going to shut up for a moment, you'll be pleased to know. And we're going to just listen to some of the sounds. I'm going to just turn it up really quite high. And you can just listen to all these bespoke sounds, which will be different from all of the other Pipers, because Just Flight are known for their quality. It's strange not to see a prop sort of lever there, but that's how it is in the Warrior. It's a lot more of a simple aircraft. Here we go then. Let's listen to some of these sounds. Oh, listen to that. See, yeah, honestly, the throttle and mixture, that's not just the port. They haven't pasted that in, because I've got plenty of hours now in the turbo variant, and that's different. Put the battery on here. Oh, gorgeous. And of course, because it's Just Flight, they will have modelled engine failures, I'm sure, and they would also model all the fuses down here. Look at that. It's great to see that. It really is. So there's a lot going on here. You'll be able to, if you don't look after the aircraft correctly, you know, there will be consequences. And that really makes a big difference. So you notice, guys, we're not actually in VR today for this particular preview, but I have flown it in VR in the HP Reverb G2 and the Vive Pro 2. And I mean, it's just exquisite, and I'm going to save all of that goodness for the final release, because we're just going to have a quick look at it today, and we're going to do a circuit. So of course we've got the EFB tablet, which I absolutely love as well, because it gives you all the control here. So I have actually noticed that there's no engine repair section, so I'm not quite sure actually if there is engine damage. I'll have to ask Scott on that one, or whether that might be included at a later date. So we'll take the chocks off there. Interesting sound there. And of course you can recharge the battery and refuel the oil. There we are, that's the tie downs off. And by the way, we're at White Waltham. This is by Burning Blue Designs, and I'm sure you agree it looks absolutely stunning. So I'm looking forward to hearing that beautiful 160 horsepower engine again, because I haven't flown one of these now for about a year and a half, I think was my last flight. And I really miss this aircraft. I've got tons and tons of memories in this thing. So for me personally, it's a very special aircraft to fly. And we're going to take it up here at White Waltham to do a couple of circuits, I think. Right, so mixture fully rich, throttle cracked, make sure the parking brake is set, and we're going to prime the engine. Now I'd imagine there is a checklist actually for this, which we won't go through today. Yes, there is. Look at this. Now this is fantastic. All this works in VR as well. We won't do that today because this is just a preview look, and some things might not be quite working correctly, but we can start this up. I think we'll be fine today. Right, so anti-collision lights. In fact, have we got a beacon? I don't think we have actually, so unless it's somewhere else. But again, this is just the first impressions, guys. Oh, hang on a minute. We're going to prime the engine as well, because we have a primer on this. Listen to the sounds. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh my god. Sorry, guys. But it's... oh. Just Flight have got such a fantastic way of producing high quality sounds. You know what I'm like, guys? I love proper audio, and that is pure class, that is. Right, I think we've primed it enough now. That's enough. Sorry, I'm getting a bit excited here. So we've got the fuel pump on. You can hear that as well. And actually, we haven't got the fuel. No, listen to see if this sounds different. At the moment, the fuel pump is not pumping any fuel into the system. Ah, they've modelled... yes, they've modelled that as well. You see, these are the things that make all the difference, and I love it. Right, so hopefully now we have primed the system. That's great. So we're going to go for an engine start here. It's very late that I'm doing this video, so I can't shout clear prop, because I think Melissa's in bed, so we'll just have to pretend. We'll open this window. Nice. And here we go, guys. Oh wow. I hope that's coming across nice on the recording. That sounds exactly like the real thing. No doubt about it. And you can see they were panning around here, and you've got the spatial audio sounds. What a beauty. That is exquisite. They've done the sounds proud already. I'm so impressed. Right, anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the T's and P's come up, and we'll start making our way over to an active runway here at White Waltham. What a treat to have an aircraft like this in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while, guys. I've got a lot of experience with this, so I'll be able to tell you how it feels from my own experiences, and I'm confident it will fly very, very close to the real thing, without a doubt. But all the kind of things like general handling, and we're going to actually do... In fact, yeah, I think what we'll do is, when this is fully released, we'll recreate my channel crossing in pretty bad weather, which I remember scud running at 300 feet, and my friend Mark, who was flying, I actually had to have the actual inflatable dinghy thing ready, because he said if the engine quits now, we've literally got about 15 seconds before we'd hit the water, because we was basically scud running under some bad weather over the channel. And that, I must admit, as I was sat in the back, because it wasn't my leg to fly, eating flapjacks, seriously I was, started to get a bit concerned by that, but we made it. And you know what, I'm going to recreate that same flight with this aircraft. Now, I'd imagine with this particular model, we're going to have the fuel pump on, landing lights on, and the temperatures and pressures are coming up now. So we'll just find a runway, really. White Waltham by Burning Blue Designs. Absolutely exquisite. This is just the perfect type of aircraft to fly out of here as well. Right, bit of flap. Listen to that. Oh, beautiful sounds. Absolutely gorgeous. Just fly. You just keep pumping out these high quality add-ons. How are you doing it? I just don't know. Right, anyway, here we go then. It's early morning here in White Waltham. Yeah, honestly, that feels spot on. The way she was rolling down the runway there, speed gradually building. That sound, it's very nostalgic. Absolutely gorgeous, look at that. Wow. It does seem funny, I'm so used to the retractable gear of the turbo that I'm looking for the gear indicator, but no, we don't have one with this. This is back to basics really, in many ways. Now of course you can change the GPS layout on the fly, pardon the pun, but I do like how they can do that just by clicking this, look at that. But for this aircraft, I know that feels a bit more, perhaps, well that is nice, but that's a bit more what I would expect to see really. But these days I guess GPS is a sort of common thing in the aircraft. Well, I've got to say, she looks absolutely stunning in the air. Very, very nice. It's like meeting an old friend again in this. I absolutely love what they've done with the instrument panel. It looks so realistic. And I'm feeling very nostalgic here, guys, seriously. Right, we'll just settle into a bit of a trim here so we can see what she's like in level flight. She's moving around the air like I would expect. She doesn't feel like she's on rails, which I like. And very easy to trim, very stable. I think it's a semi-tapered wing on this particular version. That's, you know, that is a view I have seen many times out of that wing across the UK countryside, and it's making me smile. Yes, it is. Oh, quick look in the back here. Oh, beautiful. Weathered, like it should be. That works as well. Nice cabin air. I can just see myself now in the back there, terrified, flying over the channel in the stormy weather. Thank God we made it. Yeah, you can see how she's bobbing around up and down, and I'm hands off now, guys, and yeah, she's very stable. We'll just do a couple of turns actually. Center the, make sure the ball is centered. That is spot on. Do you know, you'd be forgiven to think this was real. Look at that for a shot. Now what we'll do is we'll try a stall. I know I said I wasn't going to try one, but this aircraft feels so planted. We've left the fuel pump on, but that's fine. We'll leave it on for this anyway. Now the aircraft does wallow around, but if you keep the stall pressure on, you'll actually get a left wing drop, and it'll be quite violent. And I have actually done this in the real aircraft before, and I didn't actually like it at all. I didn't enjoy it, but it was interesting nonetheless. So here we go. Let's see what happens here. Here comes the stall warning. Buff it. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Oh, that's amazing. Very nicely modelled there. Let's get out of this. That was very realistic. Now, of course, you wouldn't keep the pressure on like that. We would have gone into a spin. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. We've gone back into another stall again. But actually, that's a good example, because a shallow stall is exactly what we just did there. So you would get out of it before going into that violent left wing drop. Like this, look. There you go, there's the buffet, nose down, and you can recover from it. Wow, very impressive. Okay, anyway, we're going to head back to the airport now. We'll just do a bit of a touch and go. See how she feels. See if I can still remember how to land one of these things. That throaty kind of sound that you get with this 160 horsepower version, they've got that to a T. It's quite a pleasure when you can review an aircraft that you've got a lot of time with in the real world. And I can almost smell the aircraft, especially in VR, because it just gives you, just reminds you of all those experiences that I've had. Yeah, this is beautiful, and for a preview first look, and to think this is still a couple of weeks out, you would never believe it. Okay, we'll just go 1 degree of flat. See the balloon up there? So we're on finals now. I know I keep banging on about the sounds, guys, but it's such a huge thing that a lot of developers miss the mark on. I love the way you can see how she's moving around in the air. The flight model feels very fluid. It actually feels, and this is a really high compliment here, but quite strange to say, but this feels like X-Plane 11. And what I mean by that is the flight model feels very fluid, and it doesn't feel like there's any number crunching going on in the background. It just feels like the air is being sort of thrown over the wing correctly, and it just feels very natural. Alright, mixture is fully rich. Careful of that tree there to our right, and we'll bring her in for a nice steady touch and go here at White Waltham. See, very predictable. Holding her off now. Holding her off, and there we go. I think I've landed on the wrong side of the runway here, but never mind. Off we go then, full power. Let's enjoy those views and sounds. Let's just dim the lights a little bit to see what this aircraft looks like at night. Let's have a look here. Oh yes. We did do one night flight actually. In fact, that wasn't me flying that time. Absolutely not. We did an ILS approach. And I'll stick a shot in here. In fact, I'll also stick a screenshot. Not a screenshot, sorry. A photograph of me landing at La Rochelle. With really bad hair that day, and that's me landing, of course, with my friend at the side of me. That was a very special moment. But look at this, that is, the night lighting on this looks beautiful. And then we've got the floodlight here as well. Oh, look at that for an office. This is a very nice place to be, I tell you that. Right, anyway, let's bring her in for our final landing. And just put the sun back up again. There we go. It's very early in the morning here. Everything just works. That's what I love about these add-ons from Just Flight. Everything works. All the buttons, system switches. Like down here, we've got the fan. I can hear that coming on now. Listen to that. Exquisite. I think the only thing I would like to see is perhaps some sort of simulation of headphones in the headphone jack at some point. That would be quite cool. Anyway guys, let's head back to White Waltham. We'll go in on that runway here. We'll just do a bit of a base and call this first impressions done. Now of course we're not in VR, as I've said before, but I have tried this in many headsets that I own right now. And by the way, the Vive Pro 2 first impressions will be coming very soon, I can assure you of that. I just need a bit of time with the headset first. Yeah, I've made some interesting discoveries with that headset, and you might be surprised what I've got to say about it. But for the time being, let's bring this beautiful masterpiece of an aircraft home. Just like you've knocked it out of the park, as always you seem to do. But this aircraft, like many of you, I'm sure, would have flown one of these in real life. So it just feels very special to be able to recreate those memories again. The engine sounds are spot on. It goes without saying that this, all the sounds have been recorded from a real Warrior, which, I mean, I don't even need to say that. It's Just Flight. Oh, look at that. So there we are guys, I hope you enjoyed that first impressions look of the brand new Just Flight Warrior 2. There will be a very, very nice discount for owners of the turbo and standard versions, I believe, and I look forward to showing this again in VR when it's finally in our hands. But I tell you what guys, I've met my hero and I'm not disappointed. See you soon guys, take care.